Welcome back to The Explainer. This is it, Episode 3, the BTO application, going step by step from the initial application right up to getting your keys. Look, if we're talking about building multi-generational wealth in Singapore, there is a specific entry point that jumpstarts the whole engine. A lot of people look at a build-to-order flat as just, a subsidized home for young couples. But today, we're going to look at it through a completely different lens.
So I want to kick things off by asking you a really simple question. Is a BTO just a home? I mean, is it literally just a place to park your furniture and sleep at night? It's so easy to get wrapped up in the emotional side of buying your very first property. But if you actually want to climb the property ladder, we need to challenge that assumption right now.
The answer is a massive no. It is your first pot of gold, period. A BTO flat is absolutely the crucial first rung on a strategic asset progression ladder. Think of it as the foundation that's going to let you eventually upgrade to a private condo, or who knows, maybe even a landed home down the line. It is literally the launch pad for your entire financial future.
Here's why. When you buy a BTO straight from the government, you're picking it up at a heavily subsidized price, typically 20 to 40% below market value. That is a massive built-in equity advantage from day one. You are effectively being handed this highly lucrative opportunity on a silver platter. But, and this is a big but, only if you navigate the system correctly.
So, how do we actually pull this off? Well, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the launch schedule, choosing your locations, the step-by-step application process, the timeline to your keys, and lastly, the real numbers to show you the exact financial payoff. Let's dive in.
Starting with Section 1, the BTO launch schedule. Basically, when to actually apply.
Okay, so you can't just apply for a BTO whenever the mood strikes. HDB rolls out new projects about 3 times a year, usually in February, June, and October. And when a launch does happen, you get a strict 1-week window. Now, there's this huge misconception that you have to rush in on the first day. Not true. This isn't a first-come, first-served kind of deal. You have the exact same chance in the ballot whether you apply on day 1 or day 7. So the real secret? You've got to start monitoring the HDB site and property portals 2 to 3 months ahead of time, just so you know exactly what's coming your way.
Moving to Section 2, choosing the right location, because where you apply is everything. Once that launch happens, the location you pick is the single most important factor for your future capital appreciation. Generally, you're weighing mature estates against non-mature ones. Mature estates, we're talking Queenstown, Bishan, Tampines, they definitely cost more up front, but they command massive resale demand later on. Non-mature estates, lower entry price, sure, but a much slower appreciation. If you're serious about wealth building, target those mature estates. Aim for 4 or 5 room flats, and ideally, look for proximity to top primary schools, because that just drives unbelievable family demand. Yes, the ballot is way more competitive, but the payout is so worth it.
Oh, and there's also a massive location multiplier you have to keep in mind. Being within 500 meters of an MRT station, that easily adds a 10 to 20% premium to your property at resale. Every 100 meters closer to an MRT acts like a direct wealth multiplier. Location really is everything here. All right, Section 3, the step-by-step application. Let's get into how you actually lock this in. Listen, getting the bureaucratic details right is vital. Please do not wait until launch week to start scrambling. Your pre-application checklist is absolutely critical. First up, you have to obtain your HFE letter. That's the HDB Flat Eligibility Letter from the My HDB portal. And heads up, this takes 2 to 3 weeks to process. You also need to make perfectly sure both applicants have valid SingPass accounts and that you've got 3 months of payslips and your CPF contribution history ready to go. Basically, prepare your war chest way before the window actually opens.
Okay, so the 1-week window opens. Here are the 5 exact steps you need to take. Step 1. Log into the HDB portal with your SingPass. Step 2. Click Apply for a BTO flat. Step 3. Select your preferred project and up to 2 flat types. Step 4. Submit the application and pay a non-refundable $10 fee. And finally, Step 5. You receive your queue number. Honestly, it's that straightforward provided you've done the prep work.
Now, what if you don't get it? I mean, it's highly competitive, right? Well, the most crucial thing here is not to get discouraged. If your ballot is unsuccessful, it is not a dead end. HDB actually gives you 1 priority point for an unsuccessful ballot. Fail twice? You get 2 priority points, which significantly improves your odds for the next launch. Seriously, many couples apply 2 or 3 times before finally securing the flat.
Next up, Section 4, the timeline to key collection.
This is the way to actually move in.
Let's assume you've successfully selected your flat. What happens next? Well, in the first 3 months, you're going to sign your lease agreement and pay your down payment. If you're going with an HDB loan, that's typically 20% coming from your CPF ordinary account. If you opt for a bank loan, it's a 25% down payment, and the first 5% of that absolutely must be in cash. Then we hit years 1 to 4, construction. And here's the best part. Your monthly installments do not start yet. This is a 4-year golden opportunity to just aggressively save cash. Then, around year 4 or 5, you finally collect your keys, pay your stamp duty and legal fees, which run about $2,500 to $3,000, and your monthly mortgage officially kicks in.
After you get the keys, you enter years 5 to 10, bringing us to a really critical definition, the minimum occupation period, or MOP. This is a mandatory 5-year phase where you must physically live in the flat. You cannot sell it, and you cannot own another residential property during this time. But remember that wealth-building mindset we talked about? During these 5 years, you should be actively redirecting your savings into investment accounts, or maybe preparing your spouse's profile for the next upgrade. You always want to be preparing for your next move.
Finally, Section 5, the real numbers. Let's look at the actual financial payoff.
Let's make this super tangible with a real-world case study. Meet Alex and May. They successfully ballot for a 4-room BTO in Tampines, a fantastic mature estate. The purchase price is $380,000. But wait, with $20,000 in CPF grants, their effective price actually drops to $360,000. They use their combined CPF ordinary accounts to cover the 20% down payment of $76,000. Then, they lock in an HDB loan at a nice, stable 2.6% interest rate, which brings their monthly installment to just $1,450. Now, with a combined income of $8,500 a month, that mortgage is taking up only 17% of their income. It's incredibly manageable, giving them so much financial breathing room.
Now watch how time and a strategic location work their magic. Over their 9-year journey, so that's the 4-year construction wait plus the 5-year MOP, they managed to save an additional $50,000 in cold, hard cash, purely because their housing costs were so low to begin with. They complete their MOP, the flat is partially paid down, and because they chose a mature estate like Tampines, the resale value of their home has absolutely surged. It's now sitting somewhere between $550,000 and $650,000.
And this brilliantly illustrates the end game. When they finally sell that flat, after paying back their outstanding loan and doing the mandatory CPF refund, which just means returning the money they used plus accrued interest back to their own CPF accounts, they walk away with a clear cash capital gain of $150,000 to $200,000. That is entirely in cash. That is their very first pot of gold.
Which leaves us with a massive question to end on today. You've got your first pot of gold in your hands. But do you know exactly when and how to sell that BTO to completely maximize your profit without falling into nasty tax traps? Timing the market and managing those CPF refunds is an art form all on its own, but we're going to save those complex strategies for our next explainer. Keep your focus sharp because your property journey, it is just beginning.